Rap music mogul Jay-Z revealed as an accused rapist in a civil lawsuit initially filed against Sean Diddy Combs. The two stars, now accused of raping a 13-year-old girl at an after party decades ago. I have 7 shocking details from the suit and what Jay-Z, Combs, and the accuser's lawyer are all saying about it.
They expose the entire systemic, structural lie that has shielded the most powerful man in hip-hop for decades. This is not about one shared track or a party photo. This is about Diddy and Jay-Z's shocking secret connection uncovered.
Jay-Z, of course, is one of the biggest names in rap music, and he has been a longtime friend and associate of Sean Diddy Combs. Now he's being revealed as the name behind Celebrity A in a lawsuit filed by a Jane Doe from Alabama, who claims that Combs and now Jay-Z raped her in the year 2000. And in a bit, I'm going to tell you what both Jay-Z and Sean Combs are saying about this lawsuit, so stay tuned for that. Combs is currently in federal custody, accused of racketeering and sex trafficking, and he's pleaded not guilty to those charges. The sex trafficking charge filed against Combs relates to allegations made by his ex, Cassie Ventura, that he forced her to take part in freak-offs, days-long sex acts with male sex workers. Cassie had originally filed a civil lawsuit against Combs in November of 2023. That suit, of course, was settled in record time within a day. Before that, Combs's lawyers say that Cassie's lawyers had made an offer to them that they could buy the rights to a book she was writing for $30 million in exchange for it never seeing the light of day. Cassie's lawsuit and the subsequent settlement seemed to open the floodgates for other women to file civil lawsuits against Combs. More than a dozen have been filed, including one by a Jane Doe in October. At the time the suit was filed, Combs was the main defendant, and 2 other celebrities were listed as Celebrity A and Celebrity B. Celebrity A was listed as a man, and Celebrity B, a woman. Now attorney Tony Busby, after some legal back and forth with a demand letter and dueling lawsuits, says Celebrity A is Jay-Z, whose legal name is Sean Carter. The suit begins. Defendant Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy, aka Puff Daddy, aka Diddy, aka PD, aka Love, along with his longtime friend and collaborator Sean Carter, aka Jay-Z, drugged and raped a 13-year-old girl at an after-party following the 2000 Video Music Awards. Another celebrity stood by and watched as Combs and Carter took turns assaulting the minor. Many others were present at the after-party, but did nothing to stop the assault. Combs has been allowed for years to conduct himself in this manner without any consequences. The plaintiff says she was 13 at the time in January of 2000, when she said she went to the MTV Video Music Awards at Radio City Music Hall. She didn't have a ticket, so she approached limo drivers who were parked outside hoping to get in. The lawsuit says one of the limousine drivers she spoke to claimed to work for defendant Combs. The driver told her that Combs liked younger girls and said that she fit what Diddy was looking for. And while not allowing her into the awards, the driver invited her to an after-party. The driver stated that he had to drive Combs and others to the after-party first, but instructed plaintiff to return to his location after the event and that he pick her up after and take her to the after-party. While the woman says she was outside the VMAs talking to the limo drivers, inside it was a big night, particularly for Jennifer Lopez, who was at the awards show with her then boyfriend Sean Combs. They were a hot couple back then, and Lopez won the VMA for Best Dance Video. She was on top of the world that night. The woman claims that night, outside of Radio City Music Hall, she got into a limo with someone affiliated with Sean Combs. That suit says, after approximately 20 minutes, plaintiff arrived at a large white house with a gate U-shaped driveway. Once inside, 2 men asked plaintiff to sign a non-disclosure agreement, informing her that she could not discuss what happened at the after-party. She gave them her name and signed the form, but did not receive a copy. The Jane Doe described seeing celebrities, but those people are—
This is about years of hidden deals and betrayals that fundamentally change how we must view the entire rise of the corporate hip-hop mogul. We were sold a fairy tale, a perfect, bifurcated narrative. Sean Combs, Diddy, was the chaos agent, the loud, flash, bad boy era of reckless abandon, of endless champagne and parties that pushed every moral boundary. His entire brand was built on visible, loud excess. He was the front man for the moral decay. And then there was Sean Carter, Jay-Z, the corporate strategist, the quiet, calculating chess player, the one who laundered his street credibility into boardroom billions, the one who was supposed to be the evolution of the hip-hop mogul, too smart, too legitimate, too powerful to be caught up in the grime. We were told they were rivals, two kings on separate thrones, but the terrifying, simple truth is that they were allegedly cogs in the same machine, two hands washing each other, relying on a profound and complex system of financial entanglement, shared leverage, and engineered
Celebrity B. Plaintiff immediately recognized all three celebrities. Combs aggressively approached plaintiff with a crazed look in his eyes, grabbed her and said, "You are ready to party." Combs then threw plaintiff toward a wall, causing plaintiff to fall. Plaintiff got up and stumbled, at which point Combs grabbed her again and threw her on the bed. At that point, Carter began removing plaintiff's clothes as she grew more and more disoriented. Plaintiff was held down by Carter as he vaginally raped her, while Combs and Celebrity B watched. After Carter was finished, he stepped back toward the wall. Combs then stepped forward and vaginally raped plaintiff while Carter and Celebrity B watched. Combs then knocked plaintiff down and attempted to force plaintiff to perform oral sex on him. She fought back, standing up quickly and punching out at the same time, hitting Combs in the neck. Taken aback, Combs stopped his attempt. The allegations in this suit are very disturbing, and Sean Combs is denying the claims being made by the woman, who's now around 37 years old. Combs and his legal team said in a statement, "This amended complaint and the recent extortion lawsuit against Mr. Busby exposes his barrage of lawsuits against Mr. Combs for what they are: shameless publicity stunts designed to extract payments from celebrities who fear having lies spread about them, just as lies have been spread about Mr. Combs. As his legal team has said before, Mr. Combs has full confidence in facts and the integrity of the judicial process. In court, the truth will prevail that Mr. Combs never sexually assaulted or trafficked anyone, man or woman, adult or minor." And Jay-Z posted a lengthy statement on X calling the allegations heinous. "My lawyer received a blackmail attempt, called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Busby. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir, it had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny," in all caps. "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case." This lawyer, who I have done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these type of theatrics. "I have no idea how you have come to be such a deplorable human, Mr. Busby, but I promise you I have seen your kind many times over. I'm more than prepared to deal with your type." Jay-Z then talks about his family and the toll this will take on them. "My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people. I mourn yet another loss of innocence. Children should not have to endure such at their young age. It is unfair to have to try to understand inexplicable degrees of malice meant to destroy families and human spirit. My heart and support goes out to true victims in the world who have to watch how their life story is dressed in costume for profitability by this ambulance chaser in a cheap suit. You have made a terrible error in judgment thinking that all celebrities are the same. I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out of the project of Brooklyn. We don't play these types of games. We protect children. You seem to exploit people for personal gain. Only your network of conspiracy theorists, fake physics, will believe the idiotic claims you have levied against me that, if not for the seriousness surrounding harm to kids, would be laughable. I look forward to showing you just how different I am." And lawyer Tony Busby, who filed the suit in the first place, is firing back also on X. "Regarding the Jay-Z case and his efforts to silence my clients, Mr. Carter previously denied being the one who sued me and my firm."
Silence. The secret connection is not a matter of friendship. It is a matter of mutual insurance against collapse. Let's start with the hidden financial architecture. Diddy's entire lifestyle, the endless flow of cash required to fund the alleged bad boy ecosystem, demanded a constant, massive stream of capital, when that capital was allegedly derived from activities now being scrutinized by federal authorities, activities that demanded cleaning and legitimizing. He needed an infrastructure that looked impregnable. That infrastructure, sources now suggest, was allegedly provided or deeply facilitated by the man who built an empire on making the illegitimate look legitimate, Jay-Z. Think about the ventures that propelled Jay-Z into the billionaire class: Roc Nation, his investment funds, his strategic partnerships with global corporations. For an alleged high-risk investor like Diddy, Jay-Z's burgeoning, pristine corporate image was the perfect financial firewall. Diddy allegedly funneled capital into joint.
He filed his frivolous case under a pseudonym. What he fails to say in his recent statement is my firm sent his lawyer a demand letter on behalf of an alleged victim, and that victim never demanded a penny from him. Instead, she sought only a confidential mediation. Since I sent the letter on her behalf, Mr. Carter has not only sued me, but he has tried to bully and harass me and this plaintiff. His conduct has had the opposite impact. She is emboldened. I'm very proud of her resolve. As far as the allegations in the complaint filed, we will let the filing speak for itself and will litigate the facts in court, not in the media. I want to bring in Nima Rahmani. He is an entertainment attorney, and he's been following the whole Sean Combs ordeal very closely. So, Nima, your thoughts on Jay-Z being revealed as Celebrity A in this lawsuit? I know you and I discussed this a few weeks back.
And Jeanette, I'm not surprised. You and I have speculated, as to who this might be. And I think it was really telling when Alex Spiro and Quinn Emanuel filed that extortion lawsuit against Tony Busby. It's pretty well known that Spiro represents Jay-Z and Roc Nation. So it was the most likely celebrity. And now it's been revealed that the allegations are indeed against Jay-Z.
I think it's interesting, too, because Alex Spiro came out swinging about a month or two ago when something came up about Jay-Z and Beyonce on a Piers Morgan show. And he came out, sent some type of letter to Piers Morgan saying, you need to retract this, get rid of whatever was said about my clients. And he did it lickety split. And then that was kind of a big red flag that Jay-Z was on the offense, or on the defense and on the offense, trying to play a little bit of both. So, but the thing is, Jay-Z is saying this isn't true. He's filed a motion to dismiss this suit. He is not taking this laying down. He is saying, this has emboldened him to not give in and pay one red cent. But this woman is claiming this was Jay-Z and Sean Combs who raped her as a 13-year-old girl. So how do we get to the truth of the matter here?
So what you would want if you are Busby and this now woman's lawyer is ideally you have some sort of corroborating evidence and a contemporaneous report. It can be challenging to bring these types of cases decades later. Now, it's really going to go in one of two ways. And we saw it with Diddy and Cassie Ventura. This is either the first of many lawsuits that are going to be filed against Jay-Z, or this is a one-off. We know that it can be Weinstein, it can be Cosby, it can be Epstein. Oftentimes, abusers abuse more than one victim. And I'm not saying any of this is true, but if it is, there may be more than one victim here. And if others do come forward, sometimes it's hard for jurors to believe one victim in a he said, she said type situation. But when victim after victim is telling the same story, of physical and sexual violence, that's very hard for jurors to overcome.
We still don't know who Celebrity B is. There's been a lot of speculation about that. We don't know who it is. We know it's a woman, and she so far has not been unmasked. Tony Busby has not revealed Celebrity B's identity. What can we take away from that?
So Celebrity B, there's a lot of speculation out there. I mean, obviously we know who Diddy was dating at the time, and I think that's who a lot.
Or parallel ventures. Investments that gave him a clean return while Jay-Z received the benefit of early, aggressive, and often untraceable capital injections that accelerated his rise. They allegedly built an ecosystem of cross-pollinated investments that allowed Diddy to look like a savvy, successful investor on the surface, while Jay-Z's genius lay in having the team to construct the layers of corporate complexity needed to obscure the source of the initial wealth. This is the hidden deal. Jay-Z allegedly took the alleged dirty money and gave it a clean, corporate suit of armor, and in return, Diddy provided the capital velocity that turned Sean Carter into a global corporate power player faster than any rival. This was not a friendly collaboration. This was a high-stakes, high-leverage business pact. And the betrayal? The betrayal is that Jay-Z, the one who arguably benefited most from the corporate insulation he allegedly provided, went dead silent the moment the federal heat got too close. He cut the cord. He executed the corporate divorce with a ruthlessness that speaks volumes. His silence wasn't fear. It was strategic corporate defense. He knew that if the Diddy house of cards fell,
that Busby is standing behind Jane Doe and the allegations that she made.
Yeah, well, so Busby, or certainly somebody from Busby's office, should be meeting with these plaintiffs before bringing claims. I mean, you should always meet with your client before you go charging into court with a claim, but all the more so when they're salacious, provocative, inflammatory claims like the ones in this case. You do have an obligation to make sure there's a good faith basis for proceeding with the claims. You have to make sure there aren't any red flags that would indicate the claim is false or being concocted, just to extort the parties. You have to do some due diligence. And Busby runs a big firm, and he says he has 120 or so, that was the last number I heard, clients who are potentially bringing claims here. So I'm not saying he had to meet personally with her, but certainly somebody at his firm should have. And I don't know if that happened or not. But if they didn't, I would think they had a little explaining to do.
And do you think it was overly ambitious for him to tout that he was filing 120 lawsuits against Diddy with these big names attached, when really that number was lesser than that? And the only big name that he had added to these various complaints was Sean Carter, aka Jay-Z.
Yeah, well, remember what he was doing there, because that press conference and those announcements, those are not part of any court case that goes forward. No jury will ever hear about that. He was trying to generate clients and evidence. So he went public and said, I'm the guy. If you now, having heard what the world has heard about Sean Combs, if you now have a claim against him that you want to pursue, I'm the best position to do it, because I'm doing the work. I have all these clients. So if you have a claim, or if you have evidence, or somebody else who is at those parties that there should be claims against, come to my firm and talk to me. That was just a long-winded attorney advertisement. And I think that's one of the issues the defense lawyers have with him, is that he's sort of been doing, self-promotion and attorney advertising in the midst of litigating the case. And sometimes it's hard to distinguish between the two. So I don't know how many clients he actually has. You are correct. The number of lawsuits is well under 120. There's also a possibility that some of those clients have reached settlements already that are just confidential and we don't know about. Again, I have no idea if that's true, but that could be one explanation as to why there are 120 clients and less than 20 lawsuits.
Yeah, because I even think Jay-Z was kind of making that point when he issued that scathing statement, kind of saying that, alleging that Tony Busby just wanted money out of him to make this all go away. He obviously didn't pay it, said he...
The entire weight of the investigation would trace the alleged money trail right back to the foundational investments of his own empire. To speak up, to show loyalty, would be to invite the same level of scrutiny he spent 20 years ensuring he was immune from. His silence is the loudest confession that the connection was structural, financial, and deeply incriminating. But the alleged betrayals run deeper than money. They go into the shared, dark history of the elite social ecosystem they both dominated. The VMAs after parties, the white parties, the exclusive yachts, these were not casual hangouts. They were allegedly highly controlled environments where power was absolute and the rules of the outside world dissolved. We must now confront the lawsuits, the legal filings that named both men, Jay-Z and Diddy, in shocking, horrific allegations dating back to the year 2000. While Jay-Z vehemently denied the allegations and pursued aggressive legal action, the mere fact that his name was formally attached in a shared complaint with Diddy instantly vaporized the myth of separation. The public was forced to see them not as two different...
That the plaintiffs didn't vet the claims enough and made representations in the complaint that could not have been true. And maybe with further analysis, they've come to a view that the allegations in the complaint are not so demonstrably false that you could prevail on a motion for sanctions. Remember, a motion for sanctions is really hard to win on. I mean, they're very infrequently granted, especially in a contentious case like this. So I wouldn't have expected it to be granted anyway. So the second possibility is that Quinn Emanuel just decided it's not the best motion. It's not our best. We have a separate motion to dismiss the complaint against our client. That's the motion that we want to see through. That's the motion we want the judge to focus on. We want her to focus on the merits and dismiss the claims against our client. We don't care about this sanction stuff. We're going to get it go. And my third theory, which I have no basis for other than sheer speculation, I want to say that up front, is that there's some kind of deal here between the lawyers. The lawyers have accused each other, right? Busby's accused Quinn Emanuel of going after his clients and trying to get them to bring malpractice cases. Quinn Emanuel's gone after Busby and accused him of trying to drum up clients to bring claims against Combs and against Jay-Z. And maybe the attorneys have reached some sort of understanding about the ground rules. Maybe not, but maybe they have, and letting this motion go is part of that understanding. That would be my third possible reason.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned that it's speculation, but I think by you kind of explaining that, I feel like that might also be very plausible. I want to go back to what you said during kind of your second explanation, where, I'm sure Jay-Z from his side, he probably wants this lawsuit just to be, or this complaint to be dismissed, or not even amended in the first place, made in the first place. Obviously, nothing goes away in the blink of an eye, excuse me. But in your opinion, watching all of this legal back and forth that's been unfolding these past few months, do you think there is enough to dismiss, or do you think at a point this will even get litigated?
I think it's going to get litigated. If I had to guess, I haven't really studied the complaint against the motion to dismiss, so I don't have a advanced opinion about it. But my reaction to it is that the complaint accuses him of some very bad stuff, and that ought to be enough to move the case forward. That's my guess. Now, remember, at the outset of these litigations, we go through kind of a honing phase where the dispute is sort of narrowed down to certain parties and certain claims. And sometimes the motion to dismiss doesn't get rid of the case entirely, but it gets rid of some of the claims, or it gets rid of some of the parties. I see today, by way of example, there's a brand new filing dismissing defendant Bad Boy Records LLC. There were separate claims against that company. And
kinds of moguls, but as co-tenants in the same alleged house of horrors. The shocking secret connection here is the shared exposure in shared environments. Jay-Z spent a lifetime cultivating the image of the responsible billionaire, the family man, the respected corporate leader. That image is fundamentally incompatible with the kind of alleged excess and criminal activity now surrounding Diddy. Yet, the legal filings suggest that Jay-Z was allegedly present and participating in the same alleged environment, on the same nights, in the same locations where Diddy is alleged to have committed his most egregious acts. This is the ultimate betrayal. Jay-Z's entire brand is built on the premise that he transcended the darkness, that he moved on from the streets and the grime, but the lawsuits, the resurfaced videos, and the whispers of the industry suggest that he simply took the grime with him, allegedly burying the darkest parts of the bad boy era deep within his own corporate structure. Diddy's ultimate betrayal of Jay-Z is not what he did, but what he knows. Think about the footage we've all seen. Diddy, on stage, looking at Jay-Z and proclaiming, "This is my strategist. Whenever I get in trouble, this is the one I call. This is my brother." At the time, that looked like respect. Now, it looks like a declaration of codependency. It sounds like Diddy wasn't asking for relationship advice. He was allegedly reminding Jay-Z, in front of the entire world, that they were in it together, that the strategist knew how to manage trouble, and that the brother was privy to the deepest, most damaging secrets. Jay-Z's total, public silence now is the final, most devastating betrayal of Diddy. It's a message that says, "I will not honor our shared history. I will not protect you. I will protect the brand, even if it means you fall alone." This silence has pushed Diddy into a corner, making him the most dangerous man in the world. A king who has lost his kingdom has no reason to protect the successor who refused to defend him. Every new document leak, every new witness testimony, is a result of the venomous breakdown of the shared code of silence they allegedly operated under for decades. The secret connection, the horrifying core of this story, is that Diddy was the reckless artist, and Jay-Z was the ruthless curator. Diddy allegedly created the chaos, and Jay-Z allegedly created the corporate system to monetize and protect the players within the chaos. Their relationship was not a friendship. It was a symbiotic power exchange built on a mutual understanding of how to operate above the law and outside the public eye. The shocking secret connection uncovered is this: the two most powerful figures in hip-hop were allegedly tethered by a financial legal life raft they built together, and Jay-Z cut the line to save himself. That is the ultimate betrayal, and the consequence of that betrayal is that Diddy is now allegedly turning his gaze back, willing to reveal the total, unvarnished truth of how the system worked, and who else was allegedly complicit. The fallout will not be contained to one man's trial. It will be an earthquake that cracks the foundation of modern celebrity and corporate power, revealing the shared darkness at its core. You are now seeing the history of the last 25 years rewritten in real time, exposed by the very men who tried to bury the truth forever.